Hey, what's going on, boys and ghouls? Welcome back to another episode of Reanimation. This episode of Reanimation is my annual Halloween special, where I will be reviewing video games based on A Nightmare on Elm Street. For all of you that are new to this channel, Halloween is the only holiday that I give two fucks about.
Come to Freddy.
First, we have to start where it all began, which is Freddys Forgotten PC game for DOS. What? What's that you say? You were unaware of the fact that LJN's A Nightmare on Elm Street wasn't the only Fred Krueger video game? Well, don't worry, I didn't fucking know either. When the game starts, you are prompted to pick a dream warrior. You can't pick Joey because Joey is the first to go in the third movie.
What's wrong, Joey? Feeling tongue-tied?
The game starts out on Elm Street in the middle of a nightmare. I know it's a nightmare because I see Freddy right away. Probably shouldn't have fucking fallen asleep, but it's not my fault. I ran out of no-dos. Your objective is to find and enter Freddy's house, which is the only house to have blinking lights in all of Elm Street. Upon entering the house is when the real nightmare begins, because this is one of those what the fuck do I do kind of games. Where do I go? What is all this shit? 20 minutes into playing this, you're gonna ask yourself, why am I not wearing any fucking pants? It took me a while to figure out that I have to find a switch that opens up a wall, giving me access to a key that unlocks a door that leads me to an exit. Did I say puzzle game? Because I meant ongoing train wreck. Beyond seeing Freddy at the beginning of the game, I've never seen him again, and I do not give a fuck enough to try at this point, because at level 4, I just get stonewalled, fucking stuck. I can't figure it out. There's some way to get through this puzzle, and fuck it. For those of you brave enough to try this game, there's a link in the description for the game and its emulator. I have also provided a tutorial link as well. Believe me when I say you're going to need it, because this fucker is ancient. It comes from a time period when you have to type shit in to access files. Moving along. I don't believe this game needs any introduction, nor does any LJN game for that matter. As someone that's trying to create content on YouTube, anything horror related for the NES is a hard territory to enter. Because the Angry Video Game Nerd has done the best review that one can essentially do for this genre of video games, I feel like I have to pay my tribute every time I enter this territory. Fuck it, why not? He's fucking earned it. Well, with that being said, we are all aware of the fact that this isn't a great game, but it's not a terrible game. In fact, I think it may be the best LJN game for the NES. Oh, hey, hold on, before you go down and chew me out in the fucking comments section, think of what I'm comparing it to. Think about all the other LJN games. This one isn't that bad. I guess you can call me biased because I owned this fucking thing growing up. Check this shit out. Did you know that this is actually in the third movie? One thing that I can tell you about this game is that it is absolutely relentless. It incrementally becomes more of a pain in the dick as you progress through it. As a kid, not that I'm saying I'm grown up or anything, but as a child, I was unable to beat this game. I did for the sake of this review, and I gotta tell ya, I was pretty let down. After busting my ass, making it to the high school, and down into the boiler room, all I found was a gauntlet of every boss that I've already faced in this game. That's just fucking disappointing. That's like looking at a giant pool full of dead children. Do I need to repeat myself? That is as disappointing as looking at a pool full of dead children! Children! When you make it through, the final boss is Fred Krueger, the spring wood slasher, and he comes out dancing like he's in a Michael Jackson Thriller video. He does next to no damage, and he is one of the easiest end bosses to beat in fucking history. It's a complete mockery to the franchise. I think that's the biggest letdown of this entire game. If you were a horror movie fan growing up, such as myself, then you know this is all we had, and that's taking into consideration I didn't even know that fucking other game existed. What can you really say besides this genre deserves better, and it still does? There is one good thing that has come from this LJN game, and that's NECA's 8-bit version of Freddy. Its packaging is a box that resembles the original game box. It even has graphically designed weathering on it to make it look old. Inside, you will see Freddy is painted with those very loud, vibrant colors, just like he had in the Nintendo game. For those of you unfamiliar with NECA, they are the pinnacle of nostalgia in overdrive. I never thought that I'd be a person that collected this sort of stuff, but once I saw the 8-bit Freddy, I just couldn't say no, and I never stopped collecting. NECA is like a horror fan's wet dream come true. That's second to the bleeding girl on the ground pleading for her life. But that's besides the point. Check out NECA's line. I can guarantee there is something that will catch your eye. I just wish what I just said was sponsored, but it's not. Don't worry. No one's ever gonna fucking sponsor me. Now I am just completely way off subject. Next we have a fan-made RPG game.
Seven, eight, better stay up late. 9, 10, he's back again.
This is essentially another puzzle game, short, sweet, and to the point. It wasn't developed in the States, and I know this because the translations come out a little foggy on our end. This game is in tune with the movies. For example, while searching, I found this little hidden bar. I can only imagine that this is a tribute to the gay bar scene in A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
I have a beer, please.
Once the pieces of the puzzle are completed, you, the gamer, are presented with a chase scene where you run from Fred Krueger through a labyrinth. I pretty much just died instantly during this fucking recording, and that's okay though, because if I showed you any more, I would be ruining this game for you, and I don't want to do that. I want you to download and play this game. Now let me ask you something. Are any of you familiar with a game called American McGee's Alice the Madness Returns, or the first one for that matter?
Go to Wonderland.
I can't. I'm trapped. My past.
Sergeant, this girl's badly hurt. Call for a doctor.
She'll be all right. No, Alice. Discard that delusion. Forget it.
It's a game that I have fallen in love with. Every time I play it, I can't help but think that this is as close as it can possibly get to a Nightmare on Elm Street game that I've always wanted to see be created. In this game, Alice is a girl who is mentally fucked up from losing her family in a fire. She believes she is the sole cause of the fire because she left a candle burning in the kitchen before she went to bed. Unable to cope with what she believes that she has done, her mind has created Wonderland as an alternate reality where she spends most of her time. There are real cases of this happening. The mind is a very powerful thing, and if it doesn't like what it sees, it can just create its own fucking world. You'd have to think of something like Shutter Island. Alice slips in and out of Wonderland during her daily routine, and Wonderland is a fucked up place.
Freddy'Vs, like you.
Go to Wonderland.
Killed our family.
It's only a dream.
Just imagine someone slipping into a nightmare instead of Wonderland. All I can see is the potential for a very well-designed Dream Warriors video game. Everyone else has attempted this, but I think American McGee would be able to succeed where others have failed. Just imagine having a Dream Warrior, learning your powers in the story mode as it progresses, and upgrading those powers. Tell me in the comments below if you think this guy, American McGee, should take this right here and turn it into a video game using this formula.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Of course, I have to mention this. After all, it is the man of the hour himself. But I don't know how to feel about Freddy being in Mortal Kombat 9.
Freddy Krueger's bladed hands tore through Shao Kahn. The demonically enhanced weapons had been more than a match for the Emperor's dark magic. Though Freddy had saved Earthrealm, Nightwolf recognized him as an evil spirit, and in a shamanistic ritual, sent him back to the Dream Realm. But that decision proved ruinous. Freddy did not resist. He welcomed a return to immortality. From the Dream Realm, he will again create a nightmare in Earthrealm.
Nightwolf banished Freddy. Really? I just feel weird after hearing that, like it just doesn't fucking go together, kind of like heroin and children. You should probably separate them. It's a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. I think NetherRealm did a great job and Freddy is really fun to play with. But here's my question. How can you give me this in Mortal Kombat 9, Jason in Mortal Kombat X, but you can't give me this? What the fuck? How in the holy hell of motherfuck are you going to give us both of these characters and not give us the ability to have them fight each other? Did you even watch the movie? If you want this matchup, the only way you gon' get it is through a game called the Terrordrome. Every horror review I've done has always ended with the Terrordrome, but not this time. I have a full review for this game on my channel for those of you who have no idea what you've just witnessed. Also, why is the remake Freddy in MK9? Where in the fuck is Robert Englund? How did you fuck that up? Where is he? But I digress. Of course, I always save the best for last. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is a Freddy vs. Jason NES hack of LJN's Friday the 13th. All of the game mechanics are the same as the original. The only difference is you're playing as the Springwood Slasher instead of a camp counselor. Freddy's default weapon for this game is his glove, and it's very powerful, probably comparable to the damage of the pitchfork for all of you number crunchers out there. He moves pretty quick through Crystal Lake, and his jumping height is average. Jumping in this game uncovers some of the hidden stuff in the map, such as weapons. Be careful though, grabbing the weapon will replace the glove. It's one of the game's downsides, comparable to Castlevania. If you replace the glove and die, you will spawn in another cabin location with the weapon you replaced the glove with. Pretty much all you can do at this point is just restart the game. This fault also works in your favor, because if you get the sweater from defeating Jason's mom, every Freddy character will have it regardless if you die or not. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the original game, getting the sweater reduces the amount of damage you will take from Jason. It smells like mother after all. What's that you say? You like Jason more than you like Freddy? Well, that's okay. There is another version where you can play as Jason. Jason's machete isn't as strong as Freddy's glove though. If you're like me and you couldn't beat this game growing up, then you won't have any problem beating this game as Mr. Krueger. I'm certain that there are a few of you watching right now that are going to want to play this game. The recipe is as follows. You will need the ISP, an emulator. I recommend Nestopia and the original ROM file. Attempting to open up the ISP will prompt you to select the original ROM file, then the ROM hack will begin. Links are in the description. You will have to find the original ROM file on your own though, because most of the ROM sites seem to be compromised these days. Links for everything else that I have reviewed have also been provided in the description. If you need help, please feel free to comment below or try to catch me on one of my live streams, which I've been trying to host on Tuesdays. Lastly, I would like to mention that I haven't played Mortal Kombat 9 in years. It was unbelievably hard for me to get the footage for it. Shao Kahn was an absolute motherfucker to defeat. I had to spam that fat sack of dead penises to record Freddy's outro for this review. Before I leave you with that clip, as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Be sure to follow us on social media and keep your eyes peeled for our live streams.
We are pathetic.